राम 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 सर्वेभ्यः कृतपूर्वकनमस्काराः. Welcome to session 28 of Shivanandalahari. We have completed 43 verses, learning the chanting of 43 verses. The meaning we have completed till the 42nd verse. So we have a very interesting lineup of verses today. Hope to complete till 45. And each one is a gem, like all the other verses we have been learning so far. So let us begin with Guru Vandanam. Then we will learn the meaning of 43rd verse and then proceed to the 44th verse today. Gurudev Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guru Paramam Shishurasmi Guru Matirasti Gurau Mama Pahi Guru Shruti Smriti Purana Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaran Loka Shankaram Saundaryalahari Kartre Sarvamangaladayine Shankaracharya Varyaya Yatirajayate Namaha Shankarupena Machittam Pankikritamabhudvyaya Kinkari Yasya Samaya Shankaracharyamashreye Prahladavarato Devo Yo Nrsimha Paro Harihi Nrsimhopasakam Nityantan Nrsimha Gurum Bhaje Shri Satchidananda Shivabhinavya Nrsimha Bharatyabhidhanyatindran Vidyanidhin Mantranidhin Sadatmanishtan Bhaje Manava Shambhurupan Sadatmadhyananiratam Vishayebhyah Parammukham Naumi Shastreshu Nishnatam Chandrasekhara Bharati Vivekinam Mahaprajnam Dhairyaudarya Kshamanidhim Sadabhinava Purvantam Vidyatirtha Gurum Bhaje Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudham Bharati Tirthamashraye Bharati Tirthavaryantam Bhaktahrittapanashanam Bhavabhiti-haram devam bhavaye satatam hridi Vidya vinaya sampannau vitaragau vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvajnau Vidhushekhara Bharati Ananta Guna Sampannam Anantabhidhayashrutam Ananta Jnanadatriintam Mataram Pranumo Vayam Gairvanyasau Vibodhena Jivanam Maulya Sanyutam Yakarottan Namamyambam Sharada Murtarupini Karabhyan Chudalankita Shashikanaabhyan Nijatapaphalabhyam Bhakteshu Prakatita Phalabhyam Bhavatu Me Shivabhyam Astokat Tribhuvana Shivabhyam Hridi Punarbhavabhyam Anandasphuradanubhavabhyam Natiriyam Okay, let us chant the 43rd verse once, and then we will move to the meaning. मा गच्छत्वमितस्ततो गिरिशभोः मय्येव वासं कुरु स्वामिन्नादिकिरातमामकमनः कान्तारसीमान्तरे वर्तन्ते बहुशो मृगामदजुषः मात्सर्यमोहादयः तान् हत्वा मृगया विनोदरुचिता लाभं च सम्प्राप्स्यसि. Beautiful verse. So, in the previous verse, the 42nd verse, the mind was compared to an impregnable fortress, and Ishvara was invited to reside in that mind, which is an impregnable fortress, and which has a very powerful army of, the indriyas, which are controlled, and the collection of virtues which forms the wall of the fort, and the fortitude forms the moat around the fort, and it has a plentiful collection of knowledge and all the samagris required to reside in the fort. So Parameshwara was invited to reside in that impregnable fort called the mind. Now, in this particular verse, Shankaracharya is praying to Parameshwara to reside in his Manahkantara. Manahkantara means the forest. Manaha is mind. Kantara is forest. Seemantare means within the boundaries. Seema, we know, it refers to a boundary. So within the boundaries of the mind, within the boundaries of the forest, which is my mind, O Parameshwara, please reside. And a very beautiful verse for many reasons. We will just go through the prose order. So the way Shankaracharya is addressed, Parameshwara is addressed by Acharya Shankara in this verse is Adi Kirata. So he is referring to the mind as a forest, right? And he also refers to a lot of animals, wild animals, which are running helter-skelter in this forest. Therefore, very aptly, he invites Parameshwara as a hunter. Adi Kirata. Kirata means hunter. Adi means foremost, or the eternal, or ancient, or the first hunter. So, O ancient or the foremost hunter, Adi Kirata, Bho Girisha, that is, O Shiva, Swamin, Tvam, Itastatah Magacha. Don't go here and there. Mayeva Vasam Kuru. Mai Eva. Mai Saptami Ekavachanam. Saptami Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Mai Eva. In me only. Mai Eva. In me only. Vasam Kuru. You reside in me only. Where? Mamaka Manahkantara Simantare. In my mind, which is a forest. So please reside in this mind of mine. Please reside in the boundaries of this forest, which is my mind. O hunter, don't go anywhere else. You reside in this forest itself, within the boundaries. Now, what is the most delightful sport for a hunter? Obviously, it's hunting. So, Madajushaha, Matsarya Mohadayaha, Mrigaha, Bahushaha, Tan Hatva, Mrigaya Vinoda Ruchita Labham, Cha Samprapsyasi. O hunter, Mamaka Manakantara Simantare, in this forest, which is my mind, Madajushaha, Matsarya Mohadayaha, Mrigaha, Bahushaha Vartante. There are many wild animals like what? Like Mada, Matsarya, and moha. So these are referring to the 6 negative qualities or the 6 internal enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So the aim is for every jiva is to conquer these internal enemies. Only then one can attain the chitta shuddhi, which becomes conducive. Then the mind, the heart becomes conducive for Shivanandam. So in my mind, in my forest mind, O Parameshwara, these wild animals are plentiful. Bahushaha mrigaha. There are many wild animals like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Mada Jushaha, filled with pride and ego. Matsarya Mohadayaha, the 6 negative qualities. Bahushaha, they are there in large numbers. So you don't have a dearth of animals in this particular forest. There are many animals for you to hunt. Tan hatva, having killed them, mridaya vinoda ruchita labham. What will you get? You will find the pleasure of hunting. Mridaya vinoda, the entertainment or pleasure or happiness in hunting, ruchita labham, in your hunting expeditions. Cha samprapsyasi, you will gain that also. So what a beautiful way of addressing and what a beautiful way of describing the mind. Like I said, once we come to a concluding verses, or once we come to the conclusion of this course, maybe y'all can, out of your own interest, jot down in what different ways Parmeshwara, the mind has been described by Shankaracharya. And in different ways, Parmeshwara has been visualized very aptly. Like here, in another previous verse, we saw Kapalin Viksho me Hridaya Kapi Matyanta Chapalam Dridham Bhaktya Badhva Shiva Bhavadadhinam Kuru Vibho. There, Kapalin Viksho, that is a mendicant. And very aptly, he referred to Parameshwara as a mendicant and then the mind as a monkey. So to visualize in such a way that a mendicant is training the monkey, like we know some mendicants we have seen that even now you find in some rural parts of India. So there the mind was compared to a monkey and Parameshwara was addressed as Bhiksho, and Kapalin, also reference to Kapalishwara. And here Swamin Adi Kirata, O primordial hunter, the foremost among hunters, please reside in this Manahkantara Sima, within the boundaries of this mind, which is a forest. Itastadha Magacha, don't go anywhere else. You reside here only. Mai eva vasam kuru. Here only you reside. There in that forest, you have many wild animals. Madajushaha, filled with pride, tan hatva, having killed them, you will also gain pleasure or entertain yourself by hunting. So this is the meaning. Now, there is a very important significance of this word, Adi Kirata. Why Parameshwara has been referred to as Adi Kirata. Many of you might know this this particular episode. So in the Vanaparva of Mahabharatam, composed by Maharshi Vyasa, there is an episode where the Pandavas are in exile. And we know that Kauravas, through deceitful means, they defeated Yudhishthira in the game of dice. And the Pandavas were asked to go to Vanavasa, that is, stay in the forest for 12 plus 1 year incognito and 12 years in the forest. So when Pandavas were in exile, that is in the forest in Vanavasa, then there comes an episode where Bhagavan Vyasa comes and he blesses the Pandavas that Arjuna should conduct penance on Parameshwara to obtain the Pashupatastram. Now, the Pashupatastram is the weapon which is blessed and which is acquired through the grace of Parameshwara. Now, this weapon would be useful for them in their future war against which they had to wade against the Kauravas. So, whether you see Ramayana or Mahabharatam, when Rama was in exile, he was blessed by many rishis and he was taught many of these mantras and he acquired a lot of penance and a lot of weapons also. Similarly, in Mahabharatam, Pandavas, they conducted penance. Here, Arjuna, in this particular episode, he conducts penance and he obtains the Pashupatasram. And these eventually would help them in the war they have to fight against Kauravas, against Adharma, basically. So when Vyasa comes, he tells Yudhishthira, he teaches him the mantra. Then Yudhishthira does Upadesha to Arjuna. Then Arjuna goes to the Indrakila mountain and he starts severe penance. And then that is propitiating Parameshwara, thinking of Bhagavan Parameshwara to obtain the Pashupatastram from him. And then what happens is Parameshwara, to test Arjuna, he comes in the form of a hunter, Adi Kirata. So he doesn't reveal himself as Shiva initially. So he comes in the form of a hunter, and along with him, Uma also comes, Parvati Devi comes, and his Ganas. And they're all dressed like hunters. And what happens is there is an Asura who comes in the form of a boar. And at that time, Arjuna shoots an arrow at the wild boar. Exactly at the same time, Parameshwara, who is in the form of a hunter, Adi Kirata, also shoots an arrow at this wild boar. And both the arrows strike that wild boar. So then there is a quarrel between Parameshwara in the form of a hunter and Arjuna as to who struck the boar first. And there is a fight which happens, and there is a physical fight. And in the Mahabharatam, Arjuna for a minute, is senseless. And then he gains his consciousness and he looks at Parameshwara, the Adi Kirata. Then he suddenly realizes that that hunter is none other than Shiva himself. And then he gets the blessings of Shiva and he's blessed with the Pashupatastram. So in the Mahabharatam episode, how does Arjuna come to know that Shiva itself? Arjuna would have offered a garland of flowers to a murti, an idol of Shiva. So when Arjuna opens his eyes, he sees that the very same garland which Arjuna had offered to Shiva's murti, Pratima, that is an idol of Shiva, is adorning the neck of the hunter, that Parameshwara, who is in the form of a hunter. So then Arjuna realizes that he is none other than Parameshwara himself, and he falls to his feet. Ishvara is very blessed, and both Ishvara and Parvati Devi bless him, and Ishvara blesses him with the Pashupatastram, which later is used, of course, in the war. So this is the episode. Therefore, Bhagavan is referred to as Adi Kirata, very aptly used. So in one verse, Shankaracharya gives us so many things. Just for one word, we can go back to so many episodes from our scriptures. Also, another thing, as we all are interested in this beautiful language called Sanskritam, there is an excellent Mahakavyam by Bharavi called Kiratarjuniyam, which is based on this episode of Parameshwara appearing as a hunter in the Mahabharata. And very aptly, and Mahakavyas are considered, there are certain characteristics for a work to be called a Mahakavya. Not all are called Mahakavyas, so they are of a very high caliber. And there are 5 very famous Mahakavyas in Sanskritam, including Raghuvamsha, Kumarasambhava of Kalidasa. Kiratarjuniyam of Bharavi is one among them. Naishadhiya Charitam and Shishupala are the others. So Bharavi's Kiratarjuniyam, those who haven't read about it, maybe after this class you go and read about it. It is a wonderful work, very aptly titled Kirata Arjuniyam. Kirata here refers to Parameshwara, the hunter, Parameshwara who comes in the form of a hunter, and Arjuna. It is that Bharavi has taken that episode from Vanaparva and he has elaborated it in this particular work. And of course, like all poets, he has added his own twist to the plot. So there are certain changes from the original episode in the Mahabharata. And he describes how a yaksha escorts Arjuna to the Indrakila mountain, and on the way there is a beautiful description of the Himalayas, the seasons, etc. And then in the climax in Kiratarjuniyam, when they are fighting, when Ishvara and Arjuna, Kirata, that is the hunter, and Arjuna are fighting, then in the climax scene in that, the hunter Kirata leaps up high to the air. He leaps up in order to subdue Arjuna physically because they are in a fight. And then Arjuna, in order to overpower the Kirata, he catches hold of his feet firmly. So Kirata has leapt up, the hunter has leapt into the air, and Arjuna firmly catches hold of his feet. And at that very moment, Shiva melts because a devotee is holding on to his feet. What more does Parmeshwara want? So Shiva instantly, then he melts and he reveals his true form. And there again, he is blessed. Arjuna is blessed with the Pashupatastra. So there is so much of story behind this word Adi Kirata. So do read up on both this episode from Vanaparva of Mahabharatam and from this and read up about Kirata Arjuniyam, a very wonderful work in Sanskritam, elaborating on this episode into an entire Mahakavya. An entire Mahakavya is about that itself, this particular episode. So very aptly here, Shankaracharya has referred to Parameshwara as Adi Kirata. And when he refers to the mind as a forest in which there are many wild animals filled with pride. So let us understand the meaning. So when we think of Adi Kirata, all this should come to our mind. So let us chant this verse, then we'll move to the next verse. Magachattvamitastato girishabhoh mayeva vasankuru swaminadi kirata mamaka manah kantara simantare Vartante bahusho mrigamadajushaha matsaryamo tan hatva mrigaya vinodaruchitalabhancha samprapsyasi. Next one. Aditi. So this verse is in a different chandas. So till now, we had Shardula Vikritam. So here, this is, again, we are coming back to, actually, this is the first time I think we are having this particular chandas in this stotra from whatever we have learned so far. The 44th verse is in what we call Vasanta Tilaka, a different meter. Karalagna mrigah karindra bhangah.
Karalagna mrigah karindra bhangah. Karalagna mrigah karindra bhangah.
Ghana shardula vikhandanostajantuhu.
घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः
Girisho vishadakritiश्च.
गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च
Chetah kuhare panchamukhosthi.
चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति
Kutobhihi.
मे कुतोभिः मे कुतोभिः.
So you can chant this in any tune of your choice. I will tell you another tune also, which is similar to what we learned so far, but we can chant it in this particular tune also because it's a different meter. Karalagna mrigah karindra bhangaha. So note here, mrigah karindra. Mrigaha karindra bhangaha. Jihva muliya mrigah karindra bhangaha. Ghana shardula vikhandanaha. Astajantuhu, but we don't split there. Ghana shardula vikhandanostajantuhu. Girisho vishadakritischa. Here again, chetah kuhare. So that's one word. As in, there is a jihva muliya there. Chetaha kuhare. This is in the cave called my mind. That is the meaning here. Chetaha is mind, kuhare is cave. Chetah kuhare. So we don't split there. Jihva mulya chetah kuhare. Panchamukhosti me kuto bhihi. Another tune I will teach now. Karalagna mriga karindra bhanga.
करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः
घनशार्दूल विखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः
घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः
गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च
गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च
चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः
चेतः कुतरे पञ्च
कुहरे
चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः.
Very good. So both these tunes are correct. You can chant in either of the tunes. Karalagna mriga karindra bhanga dhanashardula vikhandanosta jantuhu.
करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः
गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः
गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः.
Now the entire verse. Karalagna mriga karindra bhanga घनशार्दूल विखण्डनोस्त जन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः
करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः.
Wonderful. Now I will chant the verse in the other tune once for those who want to learn that. Karalagna mriga karindra bhanga घनशार्दूल विखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः. Yeah, once Aditi.
करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः sorry, ma'am, could you please
Correct. You're correct. You're right.
करलग्नमृगः करीन्द्रभङ्गः घनशार्दूलविखण्डनोस्तजन्तुः गिरिशो विशदाकृतिश्च चेतः कुहरे पञ्चमुखोऽस्ति मे कुतोभिः.
Well chanted. So both these are acceptable tunes. Anything you could chant. So in this verse, the mind is referred to as a cave. Chetah kuhare. So karalagna mrigaha, karindra bhangaha, Dhanashardula vikhandanaha astajantuhu girishaha vishadakritihi me chetah kuhare panchamukhah asti chet kutobhihi. So in my mind, chetah kuhare, my mind, me chetah kuhare, kara lagna mrigaha, kara, hand, lagna, mrigaha, the one who holds a deer in his hand. Then karindra bhangaha, kari refers to an elephant. Karindra bhangaha refers to bhanga, the one who has killed, the slayer of an elephant. So here we should all remember the episode of Gajasura. So an asura who could take the form of an elephant, and he was subdued and killed by Parameshwara. Then, of course, there is we have the story where Gajasura then prays to Parameshwara that his skin should be used by Parameshwara. So therefore, Ishvara accepts and he uses that skin of the elephant skin of Gajasura. So he wears that skin. So that we have that particular episode in the Puranas. So Karindra Bhangaha refers to Parameshwara, the one who has killed the Asura, who had an elephant form, or Gajasura. And Dhana Shardula Vikhandanaha. Here, Shardula means tiger, Ghana means mighty or powerful. The one who destroyed the powerful tiger. So here, there is a reference to killing of Yaghrasura by Parameshwara. Astajantuhu, the one in whom all the beings merge. So all the beings merge into him. Therefore, Astajantuhu. Girishaha, the one who resides or rests in the mountains. Parameshwara. Vishadakritihi, the one who has a pure, bright, clear form. Panchamukhaha. Here, Panchamukhaha, Bhagavan with 5 faces. Again, this is a reference to Parameshwara. Me chetah kuhare, in my cave called my mind, asti chet, when he resides there, kutobhihi, why should I be scared? Or from where can fear come near me? Or there is no fear for me. There is no fear at all for me, because Parameshwara resides in my mind, which is a cave. Now, this is again a beautiful description, because Panchamukhaha, this is a play on words. Panchamukhaha refers to Parameshwara and it refers to a lion. So, a lion has a mane around its head, right? Therefore, it is very spread out. Now, Panchamukhaha, according to one of the meanings in Sanskrit, it means Vistritam, Vistara, or very broad, widespread, broad face. So it has a widespread, broad face, therefore, along with its mane. Therefore, the lion is referred to as Panchamukha. The word Panchamukha is a synonym for Simha. So therefore, whenever the lion is called the Mrigaraja, that is the king of the jungle, and extremely mighty and very courageous and doesn't fear any other animal. And it is also the poets, it's very frequently we see them describing that the lions, they can leap on to the temples of the elephant and kill an elephant also. And also a lion, in this particular verse, when we take the meaning to be a lion, Panchamukha as a lion, then all the other synonyms, words to Parameshwara would be applicable to the lion also. Karalagna mrigaha, here it refers to the lion which has a deer in its limbs, meaning it has subdued a deer, empowered a deer, or killed a deer, and it is holding a deer in its limbs. And a lion who has killed an elephant, and a lion who has subdued a tiger also, and which is the king of all the animals. That is, he is called the Mrigaraja, right? In all our legends, even in our stories. So in whom all the other animals surrender to whom? Such a lion. Then Girishaha, again, the one who sleeps on mountains or the one who resides in forests and mountains. Then who is very bright. And Panchamukhaha, lion. When such a lion resides in a cave, then where is the fear? So in that way, this verse is a play on words. And Panchamukhaha here refers to both Parameshwara and the lion. Also, it means that a very important aspect Shankaracharya is telling us here, that when this lion called Parameshwara resides in our heart, in our mind, or in this cave of our mind, then there is no room for fear. There is no room for being scared about anything. Now, bhakti and bhaya never coexist. As in someone who, I know we all feel, oh, we are all frightful of many things in samsara, and many episodes, situations cause fear. But to a person who has realized Bhagavan, who is in that state of Shivanandam, there is no question of fear at all. They say fear, if you have fear, that shows that, that is just an aspect of our ego, that ahankara is there. Therefore, you have that fear. Whereas for a person who has conquered all internal enemies, there is no ego left, and who has attained Bhagavan, there is no fear about anything, no fear of death, disease, losing one's possessions or anything. There is absolutely no fear in that state. Therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, in Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, 16th chapter, while enlisting the qualities of the divine and a person who has realized the divine, the first quality he mentions is Abhayam. The first verse of 16th chapter, he says, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi. So, Abhayam, that fearlessness, that courage, not fearing anything, is a hallmark of a realized soul, is the hallmark of a divine person who has attained Shivanandam, and also who has that absolute bhakti. When you have realized that Bhagavan who is residing in the heart, Drakshyasi Nija Hridayastham Devam. That's as Shankaracharya says in Mohamudgaram. So when you have realized and seen that Bhagavan who is residing in the heart, there is no scope or no room for fear to exist, to also reside in that heart. So this is a beautiful message being conveyed by Shankaracharya in this verse, that when you have that lion, fearless, courageous lion called Parameshwara in the cave of your mind, then there is no need to fear anything. And Bhagavan Parameshwara is all powerful. He is the one who has subdued Gajasura, Vyagrasura. And like we saw in the previous verse, he also hunts he will subdue and hunt all the internal enemies like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So when such a Parameshwara is realized in one's heart, in one's mind, there is no scope for fear at all. So let us chant this verse. Karalagna mriga karindra bhangah Ghanashardula vikhandanostajantuhu Girisho Vishadakritischcha chetah Kuhare panchamukosti me kuto bhihi. Next one, Shriya. We come back to the same, the meter which we were learning till 43rd verse. We had Shardula Vikriditam. So then we had Vasanta Tilaka. We are coming back to Shardula Vikriditam here. Chandashakhi shikhan vitair dvijavaraihi
छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः
संसेविते शाश्वते
संसेविते शाश्वते संसेविते शाश्वते
सौख्यापादिनि भेदभेदिनि
सौख्यापादिनि खेदभेदिनि सौख्यापादिनि खेदभेदिनि
सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते
सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे
यजवृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम्
त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम्
नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे
नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे
विहारं कुरु
विहारं कुरु विहारं कुरु
उत्तमम् छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः please note each letter clearly here. Chandashakhi, there are two shas here and both have to be heard while chanting. Sha is Mahaprana. Chandashakhi shikhanvitaihi, two khas with Mahaprana here. Dvijavaraihi, samsevite, shashvate, saukhyapadini, kha is Mahaprana. Kheda bhedini, khe and bhe Mahaprana. Sudhasaraihi, dha is Mahaprana. Phalair deepite, pha is Mahaprana. Here, the symbol is for Padmaniya. Sudhasarai phalair deepite. So, when there is a visarga followed by pa or pha, we get that Padmaniya. So, Sudhasarai phalair deepite. Cheta pakshi. Again, this is a Padmaniya. Cheta pakshi shikhamane. Kha is Mahaprana. Tyaja. Vritha sanchara manyairalam. Tha is Mahaprana. Nityam Shankara pada padma yugali nide viharam kuru. So when you combine viharam and kuru, we chant it as viharam kuru. And please note to not prolong the u in the end. Viharam kuru. So we will do one line at a time. छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते
छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते.
So you can pause here, Dvijavaraihi samsevite, or if you choose to combine, it becomes Dvijavaraihi samsevite with an extra s. So there is s and then samsevite. So both have to be heard. Saukhyapadini khedabhedini sudhasarai phalair deepite.
सौख्यापादिनि खेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते सौख्यापादिनि खेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम्
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम्
नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु
नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे पद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु.
Tamam, 2 lines at a time. छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते.
छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते. छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते.
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरनम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु.
चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु. चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु.
The entire verse. छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते. चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरनम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु.
छन्दश्शाखिशिखान्वितैर्द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनिखेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते. चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगलीनीडे विहारं कुरु.
Okay. So here, this verse, the mind here becomes a bird. Cheta Pakshi Shikhamane, beautiful way of addressing the mind. So, sometimes when you want to, make someone do something, especially children, you can't really be very strict with them. You have to you have to praise them, and you should speak to them in a very endearing way. And that really works. So when you speak to them in a very endearing way and, affectionately and praise them, then they might actually do whatever. I mean, listen and do their work or something like that. So, it doesn't work every time. It doesn't work to be strict with, with someone who's not listening to you. So that looks like that strategy is adopted by our Acharya here towards the mind. So here he says, Cheta Pakshi Shikhamane, O mind, which is the best among birds. Shikhamani is a reference in Sanskrit to something which is the best. So Chudamani, Shikhamani, these words are used to refer to the foremost or the best in something. So here, Pakshi, bird, Shikhamani, oh, the greatest among birds, oh mind, the greatest among birds, Cheta Pakshi, the mind itself is a Pakshi. So the mind itself is a bird here, not just a bird, oh greatest among birds. So here he is addressing the mind in a very endearing way. So Cheta Pakshi Shikhamane, Chanda Shakha Shikhanvitaihi, Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi, Dvijavaraihi, Samsevite, Shashvate, Saukhyapadini, Sudhasaraihi, Palaihi, Kheda Bhedini, Deepite, Shankara Pada Padma Yugali Nide, Viharam Kuru, Anyaihi Alam, Vritha, Sancharam Thyaja. O mind, O the best among birds, O mind. So here, where do you reside? Now here he has referred to the mind as a bird. So what do birds like? They like lush green treetops. They like to be there on the, this is a flying bird. So one of those birds which loves the treetops. So you love staying on a treetop, and it's a bird which loves, fruits which are juicy like nectar. So when a bird has in its comfortable environment, when it has a beautiful lush green treetop and a tree filled with its favorite fruits with juicy nectar, then a bird would love to stay in a nest in that particular tree, on the branches of that treetop. It doesn't really have to go anywhere else for happiness. So here there's again a beautiful play of words on this mind kind of bird and the tree. Now let us see what the description of the tree is. So Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi. Chandaha refers to Vedas. Shakhi refers to branches. Shikha refers to the tips of the branches. So the foremost of the tips of the branches. Dvijavaraihi samsevite. So there is a tree with branches, and at the tips of the branches, there you have beautiful fruits, and there is a beautiful nest also. So Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi Dvijavaraihi Samsevite. Chandaha refers to Vedas. Now Shakhi Shikha. So the Vedas have many parts, like we know Samhita, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads. Now the branches, the foremost part of the tree, not only the branches, the tips of the branches. So here that is a reference to the Upanishads or the Vedanta. Now Shankaracharya is a proponent of Vedanta, and we should be eternally grateful to him to bringing back the focus of Sanatana Dharma on Jnana and Bhakti aspects. And the subject of inquiry of Vedanta is Parabrahman. That is Parameshwara, Parabrahman, that ultimate truth, Paramatma. So we have Vedas which have other aspects like karma, and they tell us the karma marga, etc. But the focus and telling us that the essence of the Vedas, the Sara, the nectar of the Vedas is in Vedanta, the Upanishads, and bringing and the society which was in so much of ignorance, so opening the eye of the society and ridding them from all the ridding the society from unnecessary rituals and blind beliefs, and bringing back the focus on Vedanta. That is what Shankaracharya did back then, many centuries ago. So here in this verse, he is giving us the same message, that the essence of the Vedas, the crux of the Vedas is Vedanta or Upanishads. So Chanda Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi means the tree of the Veda, which has the tips of the branches as Vedanta. Dvijavaraihi. Dvija refers to twice born in Sanskrit. Dvija, twice born. So Dvija is a word used for birds or any organisms where they are considered to be born twice, because first they are in the form of an egg and then the offspring comes out. So any organism which has that, these birds which first where the the mother lays an egg and then the offspring comes out. So this is considered to be two birds. So they are called Dvija. Dvija Varaihi means the best or the greatest among birds. Also, the word Dvija also refers to Mahatmas and the Shastravetas or yogis. How? So once they undergo the samskara to study the Vedanta, to study the Shastra, Vedadhyanam, that is considered as the second birth. So Dvija Varaihi, the best among yogis and Mahatmas who have done the Shastradhyanam, Vedadhyanam. So this Dvija Varaihi again has two meanings. One, the best among birds, and the best among the Mahatmas or yogis or the ones who have understood the essence of the Vedas by undergoing that samskara to study the Vedas. So, Chanda Shakhi Shikhanditaihi Dvijavaraihi Samsevite, that which is served with reverence. Shashvate, it is eternal. Saukhyapadini, that which bestows happiness. And what is this happiness? It is Brahmanandam or Shivanandam. It is eternal happiness. Kheda Bhedini. So it also removes sorrow. So samsara itself is full of sorrow. Whatever sorrow we may have in our life with reference to whichever reason, whatever reason we have, it's all related to this samsara. So the one who removes that sorrow of samsara and bestows that eternal happiness of Shivanandam is Parameshwara. So Kheda Bhedini, remove sorrow. Sudha Saraihi, Halaihi, the one which is filled with nectarine fruits. Sudha Saraihi. So here again, the nectar, the fruits with reference to the bird, it is very sweet nectarine fruits. Here with reference to Parameshwara, it is that fruit, nectarine fruit of Shivanandam. And the nectar of Vedas, the Vedanta or the Upanishads, they give us this message of Parabrahman or how to attain Atma Jnana. So that is Brahma Jignasa. That is the object of inquiry of Vedanta, Brahman, that Parabrahman. Deepite, illuminated. Cheta Pakshi Shikamane, O great bird called mind. Shankara Pada Padma Yugali Nide Viharam Kuru. You rest or you enjoy in the nest of Bhagavan Parameshwara's pair of lotus feet. Nide, very important word here. Nide means nest. So because the mind is referred to as the best among birds here, Shankaracharya is very aptly saying, O mind, where do you reside? Viharam, enjoy, reside very happily with pleasure. Where? In Shankara Pada Padma Yugali Nide, in the nest of Shankara, Ishwara's Pada Padma Yugala, in the nest of the pair of the lotus feet of Parameshwara, Nityam Viharam Kuru. You always stay there. O bird, mind, O bird, you always reside happily in that nest of the dual lotus feet of Parameshwara. Vritha anyaihi alam, anyaihi vritha sancharam tyaja. So, hey, O bird, anyaihi alam vritha sancharam tyaja. Enough of wandering here and there with your other pursuits. So, vritha sancharam, it is futile, it is useless to wander here and there. Anyaihi, in any other place. Vritha, it is useless. Tyaja, leave that and only stay Nityam, always stay in this nest of the lotus feet of Parameshwara. So here the description is that even when you think of, again, this is a play on words, like I said, a beautiful bird, then Dvijavara, very great. When it has a nest in a lush green tree top branch, and the tree is filled with nectarine fruits, and it is also, that particular tree has also other very great birds, Dvijavaraihi Samsevite, and that tree, it bestows happiness and reduces sorrow. Such a bird, if it has a nest in such a beautiful place, why does it need to find happiness anywhere else? It will be happy on that tree itself. Similarly, O mind, O bird, when you have this tree, which has the branches called the Upanishads, which are praised by great scholars, Dvijavaraihi. praised by great scholars or served with reverence by great scholars, and which is eternal, bestows happiness, removes sorrow, and which is full of illuminated and nectarine fruits. And when you have the nest in such a tree, that is the nest of Bhagavan Parameshwara's lotus feet, why do you roam anywhere else for pleasure? Why do you find, vritha sancharam? Why do you simply try to find pleasure anywhere else? You will not find pleasure anywhere else. You will find pleasure only in that particular nest of the lotus feet of Bhagavan Parameshwara. This vritha word reminded me of this stotram. Similarly, in Lakshmi Nrsimha Pancharatnam, Shankaracharya himself, he says, Cheto Bhringa. Here he is saying Cheta Pakshi Shikhamani. There he says Cheto Bhringa. There the mind becomes a bee. Oh mind, oh bee called the mind. Cheto Bhringa Brahmasi Vritha Bhava Marubhumau Virasayam Bhaja Bhaja Lakshmi Narasimhanaka Pada Sarasija Makarandam. See the literary beauty of Shankaracharya. He says, oh mind, oh bee, you are Marubhumau, you are in this desert, you are just wandering here and there to find nectar. Where will you find nectar in this samsara Marubhumi or in this desert called samsara? You will not find nectar. Where do you find nectar, oh mind called bee? Bhaja Bhaja Lakshmi Narasimhanaga Pada Sarasija Makarandam. So, oh bee, you will go to that, you take refuge or you worship the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narasimha, which is sinless, Anagha. Lotus feet of Lakshmi Narasimha, Pada Sarasija Makarandam. There you will find that nectar which you are searching for. You will not find that nectar, O mind, O bee, in this samsara, which is a desert. You are searching everywhere. You're just your attempts are futile to go here and there in search of nectar in a desert. Here he is saying, O mind, best of birds, you will find those nectarine fruits and that happiness and a destruction of sorrow only in that nest called the lotus feet of Bhagavan Parameshwara, which is on that tree of Vedas and on the branches and of Vedanta or the Upanishads, which have the essence of the Vedas, and which Upanishads take you to that Parabrahman or to Parameshwara. So now let us read the meaning once, English meaning, and then we will chant the verse. O great bird called mind, give up wandering in vain. Instead, always dwell joyfully in the eternal nest of Bhagavan Parameshwara's lotus feet, which is reverently served by the great scholars who understand the Upanishads. This nest, eternal and bliss-giving, removes sorrow and is illuminated by the nectarine fruits of knowledge and detachment. Make this your abode and experience true happiness. Chandashakhishikanvitairdvijavaraiः samsevite shashvate Saukhyapadinikhedabhedini sudhasarais phalairdeepite Chetapakshishikhamane Tyaja vritha sancharamanyairanam Nityam Shankarapada Padmayugalini Viharan Puru. So here, Sudhasarehi refers to Jnana and Vairagya, the fruits. So knowledge and detachment. These are the two fruits referred to as Sudhasarehi Phalaihi Deepite. Okay, a very beautiful verse again, like all verses. So today we saw the mind being compared to a forest which has wild animals, and Bhagavan Parameshwara was referred to as Adi Kirata. Then in the 44th verse, we saw the mind being compared to a cave, Chetah Kuhara, and Parameshwara as a powerful lion in that particular cave. We can also visualize the murti of Sharveshwara, Ishwara, which has the lion's face. And in the 45th verse, the mind is referred to as the best among birds. Acharya is telling us to seek refuge in the nest of the lotus feet of Parameshwara. Okay. Okay, let us conclude with Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadran pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ram Ram Ram. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Shriya and Aditi. We will meet next class. Agami Shanivasare Punarmilamaha. Ram Ram Ram.